Jananim Sharadam Devim Ramakrishnam Jagadgurum Padapadme Tayo Shritva Pranamami Muhurmuhu. We saw the third song also about how the sadhaka's life go with ups and downs, and by grace of God, the more we surrender our ego to God, He will help us, because when there is ego, ahankara, of my doingship, sadhana also, I do the sadhana, that ahankara also obstructs God to enter in and act. My ego is resisting God's presence. My ego resists. What resists God's grace is my own ego. It is like I am carrying an umbrella in rain. Everywhere rain is pouring down, except on my head. Everywhere. God's grace is everywhere, but my ego, umbrella of ego, is protecting me from the receiving the grace. What obstructs the grace of God? Surrender the ego and do the sadhana. The two aspects, the self-effort and divine grace. There is always confusion between the self-effort and divine grace. So, should I put my efforts or not? Shall I leave it to the divine will and divine grace? That much of surrender has not come. Do you use your ego elsewhere? While choosing your food, when deciding to take a decision regarding anything in the life, I want to go there, I want to do this, I am going for bath. Am I reporting to God and taking God as my walking stick to go to bathroom? Everywhere I am using God, then it is all right. God will do the sadhana and you have to sit and watch. You need not do the sadhana also. But we are not accustomed, we are not, everywhere I am using ego, and in sadhana when it comes, let God do. Saints say, God's grace will achieve everything. We can't sit. As long as we are using ego anywhere in any form, that ego is still there. I may not be using in sadhana. So, in sadhana, once you start doing, you consciously putting your efforts, you are putting self-effort, greater part of your self-effort is divine grace. Without divine grace, you cannot get the desire to do sadhana also. To that extent. Now, while doing sadhana, further surrender of ego, the more participation of God will be there. How I am doing intense sadhana, Lord help me see that I am able to do sadhana. I am able to remember you. I will do whatever, I am at your disposal. Whatever you want to get done through me, you get it done through me. I am ready at any kind of sadhana, anywhere. I am ready to do. You get it done through me, you get it done through me. Then I am doing sadhana, I am surrendering my ego. So, the more and more participation of God will be there. You see, your path is becoming smooth. Without effort, your mind is sitting, because grace of God is descending upon you. Because more you surrender to God, more smoother you becomes. It is like Divine Mother moving in front of you, removing the thorns in the path, obstruction in the path, she is moving away. Walking you are doing, but path is made clean. Otherwise, it's a very rough terrain. Now we fall. A big pit will be there, we don't see. We fall into it, struggle again to come up. There will be so many tests, so many bereavements and sufferings, all that you have to pass through. Now, the Divine Mother makes, like Totapuri Maharaj, who comes to Sri Ramakrishna, you see him, 40 years he spends to get that Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the highest attainment in human existence of the Absolute. So to get that 40 years, people take lives after lives. He never knew he has a purpose, and Mother is removing all the thorns and obstacles on his path. His path will be so smooth, within 40 years he finishes. This is half his service of a person, 20 years after his getting job. Within 40 years he has finished. The sadhana is enlightened soul who is beyond the nature. Nature cannot bind him anymore. So such a state he attains, and he doesn't know Mother has cleaned his path and kept. When he comes to Thakur, the way in which Thakur attains the same state within 3 days, which he has spent 40 years, then he wonders. Then also he doesn't understand the Mother, the Divine Mother whom Thakur is to worship, depend upon, dance and sing. Totapuri starts making fun of him. Kya roti thok rahe ho? He used to clap and dance. Then the time comes. Mother wants to reveal. Then he starts getting severe stomach pain, stomach ache. He's not able to bear. He says, I am Atman. I am holding this body and running about. Why should I bother about this body? It has nothing to give to me or take from me. It is making me, it's a burden. I am Atman. I am Sachidananda Sagara. Why this carry one body? He wants to give up the body and he enters into Ganga. Walks and walks. There is no water. There is no water. He is seeing water in the front. As he walks, he is no water. To drown himself and die, he enters into Ganga. He reaches the other end, but half a kilometer, no water anywhere. Then he sees Mother standing on the other bank. He gets the vision of Divine Mother. Then he understands. Then he comes back to Sri Ramakrishna, where he never used to stay more than 3 days. After he left his ashram, never used to spend more time than 3 nights at a place and keep walking. Here, first time he lives for 11 months. Then while parting, he will be singing the glories of Divine Mother. And then says, I will never forget you and your mother anymore. With that, now look at the divine grace, how it participates in our life. If sincerely you are struggling, the sincerity is the God's grace. But I am sincerely doing itself is ego. Sincerity is not ego. I am sincerely doing is the ego. How subtly you see. Then comes, slowly surrenders. as long as even that kind of egoism is moving around in the same merry-go-round, he is going merry-go-round, not elevating the spiral, he is not walking on the spiral, he is going round, every day getting up and doing the same sadhana, sleeping again, without elevation. Then he starts surrendering his ego. As he surrenders, he is moving there. Every day he is going around the same pillar in the same way as the merry-go-round, but each is gearing up to the next level. Slowly, he is on the spiral. He is climbing and going, like the road round the hill to the top. Then we see the God's grace is essential till the end. Then more I surrender, less my ego, more humility. We are availing the ever-flowing grace of divine. I am availing it, that's all. I am availing myself of that grace. That is the song that is sung. Look at the master now. The song is ending, but here the whole song is not given. Only these 2 lines are given. How the kite was soaring high and how it came down. Master to the devotees. Here you see the question comes that the rough wind of sins means sinful tendencies in us. That is, what is sinful tendencies? Which is going to bring bondage and suffering. The nature never sees good and bad, action and reaction. From the action and reaction, what you do good, you will get good. Bad, return is good. If you do bad, return is bad. So, if you throw a white ball comes back. If you throw a red ball comes back to you. Whatever is the color of the things, good for good, bad for bad. This is nature. Nature doesn't say this is good and bad. He is good and bad. Action and reaction alone. But when we receive the fruit, if it is going to bind me and give me suffering, then I call it sin. If it gives me sweet fruits and it releases me from bondage, I call it good. It doesn't bind me, then also I call it good. So good and bad is human conception depending upon the fruit he gets. So here, the fruit that we get from what the question comes is, how did I do this sinful? There is something within, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, ahankara, raga, dvesha, all these things are there within me. Lust, greed, wrath and all these things, inner, likes and dislikes, aversions and attractions, attachments, all these things are there in me. That is prompting me to do right and wrong, good and bad. Now, that it was soaring very high, it came down, and before that, the love of God, how it is making it transcend, that was shown. Now the Master is answering to the devotees. As the tiger devours other animals, so does the tiger of zeal for the Lord eat up lust, greed, anger, and other passions. Master to the devotees. As a tiger devours other animals, how it tears the other and jumps and tears the other animals, so does the tiger of zeal for Lord. The Krishna's love of God is going on. Mother's grace is going on. Now he sees a new world. Sri Ramakrishna is explaining, don't be carried away by absence of divine love and presence of so many opposing forces within. As the tiger devours, so does the tiger of zeal for Lord. I love God. I want to have Him. I want to reach Him. I want to get Him. So this desire to have God, zeal, to have Lord, eats up lust, anger, and other passions. There is lust, desire for enjoyments. Greed is there. Anger, this, that. All animosities are there within me. All that is eaten away by the desire for God. They were there, they are there, and you see them slowly dissolving away. The more, that's why Sri Ramakrishna says, you want to go to the east, don't fight with the west. So this fighting with the west, he doesn't want to happen. If you want to go to the east, don't fight with the west. Keep going towards the west, east itself. So zeal for the Lord, passions. Once this zeal grows in the heart, first we begin the aspiring from understanding, rough understanding, parichaya. From parichaya we begin our life journey. I am getting from childhood, the parents and other, especially in the Indian context, I am telling, Western context has been changing drastically towards absence of God. Negativity is possessing in great respect. The divinity and spiritual awareness is slowly declining. But as far as Indian context, even today, the parents in houses, in some way or other, except a few in whose houses the westernization has reached its core, otherwise, at least grandmothers and grandparents will be there who ask us to get up in the morning and bow down. First thing you do, just bow down and go. That much at least parichaya, contact with the divine, understanding there is a power which governs everything, governs life also. Life is a constant war, external war and internal war also constantly going on. The energy is there to fight, but the skill to conquer is not there. Capacity to conquer we don't have. This acquisition of this power of conquest is what we need. And this needs our external, some other forces participating in our life. It is utilization of the nature's forces, divine forces, to make us walk towards the divine. Now, for example, I have to go to some far of Kailas Manasarovar. Now, I have to go. I have decided somehow or the other I am going to reach. Now, I start walking. How many miles can you walk a day? 4 miles, 5 miles, 6 miles, 10 miles, 20 miles. When will you reach? Then Suppose you utilize some of the techniques that is available in nature. A wheel rolls, simple, a round ball, a stone ball rolls, a pebble rolls, smoothly it rolls, runs down. Can we use that natural technique of I make a bicycle? If I am able to walk 6 kilometers an hour, I can go 9 kilometers an hour by cycle. But in cycle, driving is also mine, energy also is mine. Suppose I utilize power of nature, petrol I use and make a engine which can give the energy in some other form. Now I use the petrol and make a scooter. Now I can, riding is mine, but power is nature's. I need not use my power to ride like cycle. I am using the nature's power and my driving. I can go 20 to 60 kilometers an hour. Now you look at the speed that with which I am going. Similar happens in the path of the God, also spiritual practices. How we are going to utilize through prayer, through awarenesses, through availing ourselves of the divine grace. All possible ways I utilize to increase my speed. In this life I have to somehow finish my task, I have to reach my goal. That goal is fixed. Now reaching is the thing. Now the whole attention is given that side. I want to reach that. That decision itself is I seek God. Now I seek God, the tiger of zeal for God eats up lust, anger and other passions. Look at the words that he uses, zeal for Lord. Once this zeal grows in the heart, it grows first where? In the mind, sustained and supported by intellect. Intellect says, if you realize God, you'll be eternally free and all that. It's calculation it will be doing. Mind collects the information and it looks at the results and all. It's guessed, oh, I need not go to school again in the next life. Otherwise again, all these benefits are shown. Fine agents are there to broadcast the advantages. After that, the intellect, supported by intellect. Now, this is zeal. It has created a zeal. Now, when that zeal enters the heart, reasoning drops off. Zeal grows in the heart. First it gets the seed sown in the mind and develops in the intellect. It comes to the feeling heart. Then in the feeling heart, layer by layer you see. Karnendriya, Chakshu and or receive. It goes to the mind, mind to the intellect and intellect to the heart. When it reaches the heart, all reasonings go away. Now, it was seeking God for all the benefits you have to get after realization. Now, it doesn't seek. Oh, I don't want anything. I love God. When Naren used to come to Ramakrishna, once suddenly Ramakrishna started becoming absolutely indifferent to Naren's coming. He was loving Naren like anything, day and night. Naren comes means he will stop all talking to people, everything. people will say, oh, Naren has come. Now we can leave this place. We cannot hear anything more except Naren singing for him. So that was it. Suddenly he becomes indifferent to that person for whom he was longing day and night. He doesn't talk to him, he doesn't look at him. He comes, he enters, sits, goes away. He comes thinking that when others are there, he will not talk. He will come in the resting time. Thakur runs and covers his head as if he is sleeping in deep sleep. Not attending to him. He waits and goes away. Sri Ramakrishna, as soon as the door sound comes, he slowly get up and come away. All this play is going on. Naren doesn't stop coming. His own way is to come. There was no change in Naren's attitude or this one. At this kind of despise, looking down, not attending to how a person would feel, how much of inner torture. He comes and one day Thakur himself gets tired. 1 month over, then he slowly opens his eyes and says, I don't even look at you, why do you come here? Naren says, I don't come here for any benefit. I don't want anything from you. I love you, so I come. There all reasoning stops. When there is true love within, or when zeal enters the heart, it starts, longing begins and love begins. Longing is the engine which is going to take to the... Love is what creates the track intact. No diversion. Once the train is put on the track, it will not go like a vehicle from one track to another track. It goes in its own track. It cannot take turn here, there. Like that, love of God and zeal, the hearts. Once this zeal grows in the heart, lust and all other passions disappear. Lust and all. Disappear. Lust, anger and other passions eats up. It simply disappears. Not to be found. How it disappears is a wonder. And what happens when it disappears? It doesn't come to your mind or intellect. You are eternally free, as if you don't even feel its presence. You see also, you will not see the presence of it. Just like you are overgrown it. Actually what happens is, as you grow, you become, that doesn't draw your attention. You must see a child going to another's house. The first thing you see is the toys with which the other child is playing. Whole attention is not on parents, not on people, on the toys of the other boys. When he comes home, he is with his toys and doesn't want any friend or anybody, even parents, to take it away. So much attached to the toys, his whole attention is toy world. Now when he grows up, he has come to the college. Toys are fallen here and there. It doesn't draw his attention. Why the toy is there? Let me keep it in its position also doesn't come to his mind. Toy is a dust for him. It doesn't draw the attention. So it disappears. Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.